The clown show is back on the road, folks, and it is getting insane out there. As most of you probably saw, Pete Hegseth went through his confirmation hearing today, and on the one hand, you have Democrats who were denied multiple rounds of questions that you would normally expect in a hearing like this, and on the other hand, you have elected Republicans just making a joke out of the whole thing. It was an absolute disaster. These people, these elected Republicans, do not have any principles. And so when the only thing you're looking out for is making sure that Donald Trump is happy, you are putting the American people at risk. We are talking about the Secretary of Defense, arguably one of the most important roles or jobs in the whole world. The Secretary of Defense runs one of the largest organizations in the world, running the most lethal military force that the world has ever seen. So these hearings should be taken seriously. But that is not what we saw from Republicans in Congress today. Let's take a look at Senator Wicker here, just trying to explain to people why Pete Hegseth makes a good candidate for this role.
This nomination is unconventional. The nominee is unconventional. Just like that New York developer who rode down the escalator in 2015 to announce his candidacy for president. That may be what makes Mr. Hegseth an excellent choice to improve this unacceptable status quo that I just described.
What is this logic? So Donald Trump was an unconventional candidate, and because Pete Hegseth is an unconventional candidate, that somehow means he's going to be great for this role in government? What is this? Donald Trump has been an abject failure in government. Why should we expect Pete Hegseth is going to be any different? This man is completely unqualified to hold this role. So what if he served in the military? He's going to be running one of the biggest organizations in the whole wide world. He has no experience running any organization that is larger than like 100 people. He has been called out for his financial mismanagement of those organizations. He deserves to be nowhere near the Secretary of Defense position. And on top of that, you have all of these insane views that he has espoused over the years, which even just further makes him more unqualified for this job. These elected Republicans are pathetic. Here's Wicker again, trying to parrot the same talking points that, oh, well, the liberal media is just doing a smear campaign against Pete Hegseth.
Since it was announced in November. Let's get into this allegation about sexual assault, inappropriate workplace behavior, alcohol abuse, and financial mismanagement during your time as a nonprofit executive. I should note that the majority of these have come from anonymous sources in liberal media publications.
So I just want you to understand what's going on here. These elected Republicans, their one job in this hearing is to make Pete Hegseth a more presentable candidate to the American people. Their number one job is pleasing Donald Trump. And that is a problem for the rest of us. Because instead of asking serious questions, instead of treating these hearings with the respect that they deserve, you have senators like Mr. Wicker here just running defense for Pete Hegseth, trying to say that, oh, everything that has been reported on is just anonymous smear campaigns, even though much of the reporting is corroborated by other people who aren't anonymous, by the way. He then goes on to say that, nah, I don't think we're going to make the FBI background check available to the rest of the committee. I mean, what are these people scared of?
Both sides have suggested that they get the report. I know your colleagues have asked for it. Senator Thune assured me personally that he thought it was an appropriate idea. So I would ask, and I would say too, as a precedent, one of President Trump's appointees had similar, very complicated personal issues the report was made available to all the members of the committee, we would be following precedent, and I ask that that be made possible.
Again, there's been much discussion about this, and what I intend to do is follow the exact precedent that we've had for the last two hearings with regard to secretaries of defense. Not only Secretary Austin, but Secretary Mattis 8 years ago.
Now, I'm not sure what the current precedent is for releasing these background checks to the rest of the committee, but what are these people scared of? When you have such a controversial pick like Pete Hegseth with very credible reporting of heinous misdeeds in the past, isn't it their obligation to make sure that the rest of the Armed Services Committee gets that report so they can make an informed choice about their vote on the Secretary of Defense? This is just Wicker running defense for Pete Hegseth. And reporting has come out now that the FBI background checks themselves aren't even that thorough. That is another huge problem. I just cannot express the gravity of this position. So to think that we're just going to do, not very good background checks, to think that we're not going to release the background check to the rest of the committee so they can make an informed decision is pretty insane to me. This is an important position. This is a position that carries so much power. We need to be damn sure that we are putting people in these positions who are qualified to do so. That is not Pete Hegseth. So that is why we are seeing these elected Republicans run defense through this whole hearing. It is downright despicable. Here's Senator Kramer saying, "Well, I'm so sorry that these guys are being so mean to you."
Very idea that you should have to sit there and answer hypothetical potential in somebody's imagination crimes that may take place at some point, and wouldn't that disqualify you if you were a murderer or if you were a rapist? Unfair, and I'm embarrassed for this behavior. But first, I want to say thank you for your strong proclamation, unapologetic proclamation of faith in Jesus Christ. I sat here and listened to your opening statement and thought, wow, this is a guy who in today's culture is willing to stand up and say the first thing is first, faith in Jesus Christ. And I was reminded of what Christ said in Matthew, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and these things shall be added unto you. You are going to have a great future as our secretary, and I look forward to that day happening.
What does this dude think these hearings are for? I'm so sorry you have to sit here and be slammed with questions about specific hypothetical scenarios. That is what these hearings are for, you jackass. These questions are important. When you have an incoming president who has threatened to use the military against American citizens, you best be damn sure that we're going to be asking the potential Secretary of Defense whether or not he is going to be following that unlawful order. What is he doing? And then to rattle off about Jesus Christ, and I'm so thankful that you made such a strong proclamation about Jesus Christ. What are we in Sunday school? What is going on here? These people are not taking their jobs or roles in government seriously. And that is a damn shame for the American people. We deserve better than this in our houses of Congress. Here's Mark Wayne Mullen. He's essentially running defense for Pete Hegseth and his potential drinking problem.
Or I guess I better use the senator from Virginia, starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down? No. but it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show and point out the hypocrisy because the man's made a mistake. And you want to sit there and say that he's not qualified? Give me a joke. I mean, it is so ridiculous that you guys hold yourself as this higher standard and you forget you got a big plank in your eye.
Give me a joke. Mark Rain Mullen is such an idiot. To try to conflate the idea of Pete Hegseth showing up at work during it or on the job, hammered out of his mind, to some senators or House members coming in late at night to just cast a vote. These are not the same things. Oftentimes, you have to hold votes later in the day or maybe way into the night, and so it might be reasonable that a senator or two may have had a few drinks with dinner or something like that. These are not the same things. The question was about whether or not Pete Hegseth would refrain from drinking, especially on the job. It would not be appropriate for him to show up at his office sloshed out of his mind. So for Mark Wayne Mullen to just be downplaying all this and then trying to accuse the Democrats of putting on some type of show is insane. And I wanted to show you one last clip. This is probably the most despicable of it all. Here's the new senator of Montana, Tim Sheehy, I believe is his name. Listen to what he thought was a super appropriate question for a potential Secretary of Defense.
Pete, I'm actually going to ask you questions because I want to hear your answer. How many genders are there? Tough one.
Senator, there are two genders.
I know that well. I'm a she-he, so I'm on board. What is the diameter of the rifle round fired out of an M4A1 rifle?
That's a 5.56.
How many push-ups can you do?
I did 5 sets of 47 this morning.
Ha, ha, ha. There's only two genders, and I know that because my last name is Sheehy. You guys are just hilarious. And what is this obsession with how many push-ups can you do, bro? What is the size of the round in this particular rifle, bro? Does this guy think that the Secretary of Defense is out on the battlefield shooting a rifle? Like, what is this? Who cares how many push-ups Pete Hegseth can do? Just because he can do 5 sets of 47 this morning doesn't mean he is going to be a qualified and competent Secretary of Defense. These people are jokes. They are unserious actors. More importantly, they are bad faith actors. Because when the only thing you have is making sure that dear leader is happy, we get to see a clown show like the one that we just witnessed in a confirmation hearing. The American people deserve better than this. We deserve our leadership to take these hearings seriously. We deserve a Secretary of Defense who is willing to go before these committees and take it seriously and answer the questions honestly. We're going to do another video of just how terribly this hearing went for Pete Hegseth. It was a disaster, and the American people deserve better. So I will leave it there for now. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to hit that subscribe button. We are trying to build a media ecosystem on the left that can rival the pile of crap that is the right-wing media ecosystem. So it is so important. If you want to support new creators and you appreciate the work I do here, please do remember to hit that subscribe button. If you want to see how the MAGA cult has fallen in line with the whole let's go ahead and take Greenland thing, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.